My guest is Peter Faruna Salifu, WO2 retired. Old soldier, it's good to have you on State Affairs.
Thank you so much, Bilo.
How are you?
Fine.
You are 77.
77 years old.
Yeah. And you still remember your days as a soldier.
Exactly.
In fact, one thing I like about your memories is that you have decided to put pen to paper.
Exactly.
To tell your stories. You have a new book.
Exactly.
Entitled The Holocaust of the Nigerian Biafra War.
Exactly.
1967 to 1970. My memories from the war front. The Holocaust. You called it Holocaust.
Yes.
How?
Because the war was devastated, a very, very destructive war that we fought, that consumed lives, destroyed property. That was why I gave my book, that title.
Holocaust.
Holocaust.
Who committed the Holocaust?
Well, both sides, Nigeria and Biafrans.
Your new book, you made a very strong argument in chapter 2 of the book.
Yes.
Saying that the Igbos did not cause the war.
Yes.
Who caused the war?
The cause of that war, if we look at it closely, and through my intensive research, I discovered that war was caused by the revengeful counter-coup of Major Murtala Mohammed, July 29, 1966. You see, that coup brought about hardship to Igbo people. The coup was a coup of revengeance. Through my research, I equally discovered that the killings of July 29, 1966 can be referred to a massacre of Igbo people. The senseless killing, it to say Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu Gowon stemmed the degeneration of that killing into Igbo program. There could have no be war at all, civil war at all. But that coup, mass killing, snowballed into Igbo program that brought about the war, ignited the war itself. That is my opinion. There's no other way you can look at it. That is the truth of the matter. And that's my strong belief. It was not the Ndiogu revolution, 1966 revolution that was erroneously believed to be the person who caused the war, nor Igbo as a whole, nor Ojukwu as a whole. But the war was caused by that 1966, July 1966 coup.
You are an Igala man from Kogi State.
I'm from the north.
You are not an Igbo man.
I'm not an Igbo man. I'm not from the south.
You joined the Nigerian Army in 1967.
I joined the Nigerian Army in 1967.
The pogrom you are talking about took place in 1966.
In 1966.
You were in Kaduna then.
I was a living witness.
What did you see?
I saw so many things. I was there working at one of the textile industry at Kakuri, Kaduna. when the first coup was staged by Major Kaduna Nzogu. You know, when the coup came up, it was jubilation all over the street in Kaduna. People were jubilating. And they were happy about that coup that took place. Because if you see how that coup came up, there were some events going on. The corruption, and nepotism. People disliked those things, and the crisis that came up in the Western region during 1965 election as a result of the ruling class trying to extend their political tentacle to cover the West. So it resulted to using talks to snatch away boxes. There was naked rigging of election that degenerated into almost anarchy in the West. So the riot in the West, which was popularly referred to as Operation Waity, where mass people were killed, was going on. The Prime Minister was helpless to quell the situation, and this created an avenue for the military people to take over.
And you said there were jubilations in the street of Kaduna.
Yes,
when Nzogu and co struck. But why would they jubilate when Ahmadu Bello, their leader, was killed in that coup?
Because of the happenings, the political happenings during that time. People were disenchanted with the level of corruption going on among the ruling class. The nepotism was going on. And it came to a level where vote did not count. In our nascent democracy in the Fourth Republic. So people were not happy.
Who did you see jubilating? Were they northerners?
The masses.
Or southerners in Kaduna?
Masses of the people.
Did you jubilate?
Yes, I did.
You welcomed the coup?
I thought it was a relief, a big relief. I thought it was a big relief.
In your first book, this book?
Yes.
This is your first book?
Exactly.
About the war?
Yeah.
You titled the book, The Bloody Nigerian Biafran War.
Exactly.
You called the first coup a revolution.
A revolution.
Why was it a revolution?
It was a change in government.
In this book, it's like you celebrated the first coup.
I celebrated it. If you look at the personality of those who staged the coup, the January coup, 1966, they were radicals, element, well read. Look at the life of Nzogu, Cardinal Nzogu. He was widely read with the school of Marxist philosophy, and he was vast in military history. So he was a radical socialist officer who wanted a change of government. They wanted to clean up the government, the First Republic, because they saw that that government of Baliwa was not working. It was not working. So they wanted to uproot it. So that was why Sadana was killed. Sadana was the leader of the party, NPC, who stayed in Kaduna. Tafawa Balewa was the prime minister who controlled the apparatus at the federal level. So Anuyo wanted to change this rotten apparatus. So they became targets. Two of them became targets of the revolutionaries.
You also made the point in your first book.
Yes.
That it was not an Igbo coup.
No, it's not an Igbo coup. It's not an Igbo coup. Because I disagree with those people who have been lying that Ujogu coup was an Igbo coup. Some of them are even arguing that because only Ademoyega, Major Ademoyega, who is a Yoruba major, if not the whole 8 of them were Igbos. That was the premise they look at it from. And it was a wrong premise. You see, a revolution is a revolution. Whether people are from the same place, provided you have the same mind to remove those in power, it doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter at all. I don't agree with those people who tag Nzogu revolution as Igbo revolution.
You know, some would say that the killings were targeted towards certain regions.
Mm-hmm.
Why another region was excluded from the killings.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the region that was excluded from the killing, the eastern region,
Mm-hmm.
most of the officers that carried out that coup came from that region or close to it.
Mm-hmm.
So they have defined that coincidence as an Igbo coup.
Not even coincidence. You can't say it's coincidence.
Okay.
It's a reality. The revolutionary wanted to change the government. Who were the people who were holding the apparatus of the government? The ruling class, the ruling party. Sarara was the head of the party. He stayed in Kaduna. If you want to change that government without eliminating Sarara, do you think that government that coup will succeed? That was why they became target of the revolutionaries.
What about Akintola?
Akintola was, yes, Akintola. You see what happened was that they made an alliance with the party of Akintola. That was, I was telling that the ruling party wanted to extend their political tentacle to capture power in the West. And it deteriorated to crisis, serious crisis. You see, so Western region became a problematic region that must be dealt with. The Prime Minister, Tafawa Balewa, who supposed to use his power to quell the situation in the West, refused. So when Ujo came up, they wanted to bring peace in the Western region. Even when they are talking about Igbo coup, I always laugh at them. When you say that it was an Igbo coup, who was the person who was the mark to become the prime minister? Was it Okpara in the east? Was it Azikiwe, who had no power, who was a titular president general? It was Awolowo from the west. Then what type of interest the revolutionary wanted to protect? If they call it an Igbo coup, picking somebody from the west to become the prime minister. So they had a national interest, not an Igbo interest at all.
You sound as if Nzogu is your hero.
Yes, he's my hero. He's my hero. Up till now, he's my hero. He's my hero.
Otsoja, you're saying that?
Yes. And because if he's not a hero, he's a nationalist. Nzogu was a nationalist to the core. You see, people, all these politicians are talking from their both sides of their mouth. When Nzogu was killed in July 1967, around the campuses of Nsukka University, in the night, by 21 Battalion, under Captain Wushishi. They recognized his body and they informed Gowon ordered them to remove the body to Kaduna for a befitting burial, national burial. He was given that national honor. Nzogu was given that national honor. So he was a hero. And when people talk about Igboku, I always laugh at them.
If you are interested in understanding the man Nzogu, I am recommending this book to you, Nzogu by Olusegun Obasanjo. It seems to be the only one who has taken time to give us a biography of Kaduna Nzogu. So this is one book that is revealing about the person of Nzogu. And Warrant Officer Peter Salifu, retired, seems to admire Nzogu a lot. So you can get this book on udarabooks.com, or you can order it through our WhatsApp numbers. So the numbers are on the screen. The Nzogu coup led to a counter coup.
Yes.
The counter coup was followed by a pogrom.
A program.
And your second book, entitled The Holocaust of the Nigerian Biafra War, it dwells on that Holocaust.
Yes.
In fact, on the pogrom in chapter 2.
Yes.
You make the point that you identified the officers that led the counter coup.
Yeah.
Muhammadu Buhari was one of them.
Hey, Mohammed
Babangida,
Abacha.
Murtala Muhammad.
T.Y. Danjuma.
And some of them eventually became heads of states.
4 of them.
Is there something special about the caliber of that team?
If you examine that coup and the enthronement of these people as head of state, military head of state, you realize that these people were the people who entrenched ethnicity into Nigerian politics.
How do you mean?
Yes. Right from there, if you look at Buhari regime, there's no doubt that you can call that regime anti-ethnicity. He encouraged ethnicity and other vices. You see, that is why if you look closely, the Murtala Muhammad coup and how 4 of them became head of the military government in Nigeria subsequently, they wanted to protect their own interests, not the interest of the masses. Not the interest of the masses. And
not the interest of the North?
Not the interest of the North. Well, which North? Look at how they left the North in chaos. How many of them became president of this country from northern part of the country? Look at the poverty there at alarming rate. Look at the insecurity in the North, the banditry, the Boko Haram, and maybe probably a week ago they said they have discovered another group again from Sokoto.
Yeah.
Coming up again. Go to North. We rule. Our people govern for almost 20-something years. But what have we gotten from the North? Poverty and squalor. Abject poverty in the North. Nothing.
You live in the North.
I still live in the North.
You came all the way
from the North
to Ibadan. For this interview.
Yes. Despite my age of being 77 years old.
Why were you so interested?
I know, because I want to correct those errors. A lot of people are talking so much in the social media, trying to act or to distort history. They wanted to distort history. So I want to put down the truth of the matter.
You make the argument that the counter coup led to the civil war.
Yes.
You've also said that the counter coup was a revenge coup.
Yeah, a revenge coup.
That means to every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction.
Yes.
The counter coup was a reaction to the January coup.
Yes.
So if you are saying the counter coup led to the civil war, will I be right to also say that because the January coup led to the counter coup, so the civil war can also be linked to the January coup?
Yeah, but how can you link it? The counter coup to January coup. They had their own interests at heart.
Because the counter coup came because there was a January coup.
But look at the killings. Look at the killings. Look at the killings. The counter coup, the target of the counter coup were the ruling class, 2 civilians from the north. 2 civilians from the north. Amadou Bello, who was the premier of the northern region, and the party leader, MPC, and the Tafawa Balewa was the prime minister, were killed. Then if you come to Lagos, where there was Mamalari, Palm, defending the interests of the government at the center. They were taken out too. Then only Lagema, Lieutenant Colonel Lagema, the 4th Battalion commander at Ibadan, was equally killed because he was defending Akitola, that trouble western region. That was why Lagema was taken out too. But look at that.
Colonel Onegbe was also killed.
Onegbe because of maybe he was a quartermaster general. Maybe he was having conflict with the revolutionaries.
So an Igbo officer was killed.
An Igbo officer was killed. How do you say about that?
So the counter coup did not just target leadership.
No.
It targeted the people.
The people concerned at the upper echelon of the army.
There was massacre in Abeokuta.
There was massacre. Why I'm saying this, if you compare the coup, the January revolution, with Mohammed Murtala coup of July 29, 1960, you see a disparity here.
In your second book, you said the January coup was ideological.
Ideological, because the January 1966 coup, led by Major Kaduna Njogu, was with ideology and focus. They were having ideology and focus. And they were having a direction to take, path to take. But if you look at July 1966 coup, they had no ideology and focus. The coup was there to revenge.
Obasanjo, in this book, My Command, described the killings in the counter coup as senseless killing.
Yes, senseless killing. I describe it in my own new book too.
In chapter 2?
In chapter 2.
Because you quoted this book?
Yes, I quoted this book.
Why did you go for this book?
Because Obasanjo was telling the truth. He was telling the truth that many people don't want to hear. He stated